What's going on, guys? Welcome back. My name is Brandon. Today we're going to be doing a aluminum MIG welding repair, and just a reminder, there's only a few more days left to the first welder giveaway, and that's one of 3. Over the next 3 months we're going to be giving away 3 welders. Stick around. And this is what we're going to be working on today, guys. So this is my 16-foot Neo enclosed trailer, 7-foot wide. You guys can see that it's got a bunch of little ding marks on the side here. That's a project we're going to be doing coming up. We're going to be repairing or replacing all the siding on one side of this. But for today's project, you can see what we got here. What these are is a downrigger. And how these work is you pull this pin just like this, and then that downrigger comes down, and then you put the pin back through, and that stabilizes the trailer so that when you're loading stuff, it doesn't raise up in the front. Well, one of the issues that I had was that this little pad right here was broken, so I hammered it back, and you can see I've cracked the weld right there, and I cracked it again right there. So we got to fix this, because I don't like things that are half done or not right. So we'll just do a little quick welding on this and get this thing dialed in. And here's a little close-up of what's going on there. You can see, look, how they still left the soot from the original weld is still on it. One of the first things we got to do is figure out why this did this. Obviously, because if it's something that is structurally wrong with it, then we're going to need to fix that. And I've kind of already determined that. This foot was all bent up on this trailer, and I believe that the previous owner was kind of hard on their stuff, and it looks to me like they probably sunk this down into the dirt, or it got frozen into the dirt with these down over the winter, and then it broke the welds because these were all bent. You can see how this is all bent right here. So this has been overloaded, which has caused it to crack. What we're going to do is we're going to wire brush the welds all out, get them all cleaned up, and then we're going to probably grind back some of this old material, get that out of there, and then we are going to re-weld right over the top of it. There's not a lot of force on this. It's mostly only downwards pressure, but obviously I want this right and I don't want it coming apart. Now that I know that it's not necessarily a defective part or it was underbuilt, we can start moving forward with cleanup. And you can see, to do this, I'm using a stainless steel brush that's only used on aluminum. That way we're not introducing any contaminants into this weld joint. Now I'm going to come in with a diamond wheel on my grinder and just gently remove some of that material down in there. I'm not trying to get it all out of there. I'm just trying to remove some to get it cleaned up. That way we got a place for our weld to go. And I'm using soft jaws in my vise so that the metal jaws of the vise doesn't put indentations in this tube. It's not like you'd see this most of the time because it's recessed up inside that piece of the trailer, but I want to try to keep it looking factory. Alright, so now we got a piece all ground down, kind of cleaned up a little bit. We'll go back over it with the stainless steel wire brush, and we'll go over machine settings. So for this repair, guys, I'm going to be using my Yes Welder MIG Pro 250, and we're going to be using some 45 thousandths diameter 5356 wire. Snap it on. We're running 30 CFH of pure argon. We're DC electrode positive. You can see I've selected the wire. I'm using 45 thousandths, and we're doing aluminum argon. We're at 17 volts and 12 inches per minute. And then here are some of my other settings. I've got an inductance of 2. I'm going to bump that up to 3. An increased setting of inductance will kind of like wet the toes out. A decreased number on inductance will make for a pointed, more finer weld. I'm using 2T mode. That's just pull the trigger, wire comes out, let off, it stops. Hot start of 1, that's just going to increase the starting amperage. Burn back time, that's after you've let off the trigger. So after you let off the trigger, if you've got a long piece of wire sticking out and you've got to trim it each time, then you want to decrease that burn back number, because with aluminum you want about a 3/4 inch stick out. So once you let off the trigger, you want about 3/4 of an inch of wire left, so that when you start it the next time, you don't have to trim your wire each time. Although it is a good idea to get that ball off the end to get yourself a good start. Let's say you're using stainless steel and you've got a run-in of 3. With the harder wire, you may want to decrease that run-in setting, so then the machine, once you pull the trigger, it'll ramp that setting up to your normal welding current. As opposed to, say, let's say you've got aluminum, you may want a higher setting on aluminum so you get that nice crisp start in the beginning, because the aluminum wire is soft, and then it will ramp that down to your normal welding voltage. Run-in basically affects the start of your weld, and it also is dependent on your wire and material thickness. Lower numbers for harder materials, higher numbers for softer materials is an easy way to remember that. And just like anything, before you get onto your workpiece, you want to pad some beads on a scrap piece of material of the same size of the material that you're welding, so you can get your machine dialed in real good. So I've got this dialed in. These are just all little test pieces that I was doing, trying to get my settings just right. And I settled on this right here, so that's where we're going. There's a bunch of beads all stacked up back there, but we're not looking for necessarily cleanliness. I was just looking to get my settings just right, and I think I've got them. And just like any of the processes, guys, none of this is good to be breathing into your lungs. So make sure you've got yourself a decent respirator. Pick one up that fits under your hood, because you don't want to be breathing in those toxic chemicals. I have this one. I think back in the day when I picked it up, it was like 10 bucks or 15 bucks, came with cartridges. I'll have links to this and all my other stuff that you see in this video with the video description, links down below. So that way, if you guys are interested in picking up any of this stuff, you'll know where to find it. Now with aluminum, guys, you want to push it. You want to push it. You don't want to drag it. Now by pushing it, you're allowing the gas coverage to wash over the weld metal or the metal just ahead of the puddle, and that way you're going to get good coverage. If you drag it, you can get porosity and your welds can have some issues. It didn't come out perfect, but I figured out what happened after the fact while I was welding. Because it wasn't continuously welded all the way around at the bottom, there was like some type of trash down inside here. I don't know if you can see it, but down in there, it basically wicked out whatever's down in there out through the weld and started like bubbling up. So I ended up going over a couple places twice. So it didn't give it the best overall appearance, and I ended up grinding this one because I went twice on that one. So whatever, as long as it's strong, that's all that matters. Let's go put it in, see how it's going to work. All right, let's put this thing together. Let's see. I feel like dig like a little pothole here to get this out. Come on. There we go. There we are, just like new again. For you new guys, kind of give you a peek inside. We just put some wheel chocks in last week, there and there, and yeah, that's for sale if anyone wants to buy it. A little shameless plug for myself here. Brand new. It's probably got maybe hour and a half, 2 hours on a full rebuild, frame up, and I did it on this channel. If any of you guys think you might be interested in this, just hit me up. I'm not giving it away. I'll tell you, I got a lot of money in this bike, guys. And then in an upcoming episode, I've got some E-track here that I'm going to be putting in along the walls. And be sure to tune in, guys. Watch these videos down below, because in a few days I'm giving the first of 3 welders away. Very simple. All you got to do is watch the video, share it, put a comment down below in those videos. And like I say, there's 3 official videos. Go find them, go watch them, leave a comment, and 1 lucky subscriber is going to win those welders. I'm giving away 1 on October 10th, November 10th, and December 10th. So these could all make great Christmas presents for some lucky subscriber. Until next week, guys, I will see you then. Take care, stay safe. New videos every Friday. Like, comment, subscribe. See ya.